hello, my YouTube friends and my hateful eight. And you know what? When I say hateful eight, it doesn't mean there's just eight. It means it could be any number. And if you're a hateful eight member, or if you wonder what it means to be a hateful eight member, it's just people that watch my crappy videos no matter what I put up. That's a hateful eight member. But what I wanted to do today, I recently got back from a camping overnighter, kayak camping overnighter. I'm not even going to do a retake on that. With my good buddy Bobby Darren. And a lot of times when I come back from a trip like this, I like to kind of reevaluate things. There's the old trusty yak right there. But I try to reevaluate some stuff. So I thought this video I would just kind of go through and kind of in my own head determine what went right, what went wrong, what did work, what didn't work. And there was a lot of stuff that worked, and there was some stuff that didn't work on this trip. So I'm just going to kind of go with those, record them, and if nothing else, I'll have them for my future research. All right, one of the things that went right, the kayak that I used. The yellow one, don't pay attention to that. That's an old Prion, and I've got some work to do that. It just happens to be sitting there beside my Wilderness Systems Commander 120. I love this kayak, and for this particular trip, it was perfect. It's kind of a hybrid canoe kayak, lots of storage. I even have some water in it because I didn't flip it on its side and it rained. There's lots of storage in this kayak. It's comfortable. It's a very stable kayak. What it allowed me to do was just to throw all my crap in there, take whatever I wanted, and I had plenty of room. And one of the reasons I did that was because I have recently moved. I don't know where all my stuff is, and I just threw all kinds of crap in there going like, you know what, I might need this, I might not. I've got room for it, so let's bring it. So what went right? The Wilderness 120 Commander went right. Great little boat there. And by the way, these are going to be in no particular order. I'm just going to kind of look through my stuff, and I'm sure I'll forget some things that went right or went wrong, but like I said, they're not in any order. I have two of the Nemo Cosmo air pads, sleeping pads, and they both have the integrated foot pump. I bought one for summer use, and I bought one for winter use. The one for winter is insulated. The one for summer is not. Guess which one I brought? Yeah, that's right. It was cold, and I brought the non-insulated one, like a dummy. So there's the insulated one. So that went wrong. Now the weather outlook was perfect, okay? It was just gonna be gorgeous until we got there and discovered that there were hurricane force winds coming into the little cove where we launched, and if you watch the video you can see it, and there were waves and whitecaps. So luckily, even though it was a perfect weather forecast, luckily I was smart enough and I brought my rain suit. There was no forecast of rain, but I brought my rain suit, which had these waterproof pants. And on our trip out of the cove, I took on a lot of water. I had waves crashing over the bow of my kayak. It was the splatter and coming off my paddles soaked my legs. Thank God I brought a rain suit, and I was wearing these pants, and they kept me dry, and it was just accidental that I brought them. All right, next thing, what went good? The Dutchwear Hammock Sock. That was excellent. It kept the temperature difference from the outside of my hammock to the inside anywhere from 12 to 15 degrees. So these are relatively inexpensive. You can go to dutchweargear.com. This is an 11-foot hammock sock with zipper. This was a good thing. I'm glad I had it. Okay, another good thing was my NRS Water Shoes. I recently did a review on these. These boots were awesome. I didn't know that I would need them. These are one thing, because I asked Bobby, I said, Bobby, we gonna get wet? He said, nah, we're not gonna get wet. Bobby, you didn't tell me the truth, boy. But anyway, he didn't know either. He didn't know that we were gonna have some pretty nasty conditions. I brought these, I wore them when I got in the kayak, and I never took them off through camp. I wore them all through camp, kept my feet warm. They were comfortable. That was a good thing. I'm glad I brought them. All right, this part is good and bad. The good is I brought base layer, and this is the Under Armour base layer 2.0. This stuff is pretty amazing. I love it. I put it on before I went to bed, and I wasn't in the hammock very long until I was burning up. I actually had to get up, remove the base layer, because I was too hot. However, the problem with that was about 3, 4 in the morning, I woke up and I was freezing, all right? Especially from my legs down, I was freezing, and I had taken my base layer off. Big mistake. Big mistake. Okay, as I continue to debrief myself on this trip, I was in my Dutchwear Chameleon hammock, which I love that hammock. It's a great hammock. Here's the problem. I didn't have any storage. You know, a lot of times people have the little pockets and everything on the ridge line. Well, I didn't do that. I didn't have any storage. And because it got hot, I had taken off my little beanie cap, all right? And I lost it. Well, like I said, I got cold about 3 or 4 in the morning. I needed this desperately, couldn't find it. If I'd have had any kind of storage on my ridge line, I could have, when I was hot, could have stuck it up there. It would have been easy to get to. Well, I lost it, and I found it next morning. It was in the middle of the hammock, under my sleeping pad, my uninsulated sleeping pad. So that was a big failure right there. All right, now keep in mind, like I said, I've moved over the last 2 or 3 months. I've moved. We're in a rental house now, and I've got stuff here, I've got stuff there, I've got stuff in a storage. No matter what you do when you move and you try to stay fairly organized, it's impossible to do. So all of my gear has somehow just gone everywhere. I put together things that I thought that I might need, but just, I hate being so unorganized when you're trying to go on a trip like this and be as efficient as possible. My biggest fail, oh my God, here's my biggest fail, and it was sitting right under my nose. All right, so I brought a sleeping bag. I didn't use my sleeping bag. I used something else, and I'll tell you about that also. But when me and Bobby turned in that night, they had this big metal container for you to, you can cook on top of it and store stuff inside. And I guess it's there for your trash and, keep raccoons and varmints out of your stuff. Well, because of my other setup, I said, you know what? Don't even need the sleeping bag. I'm gonna throw it in here with all the other stuff. Well, because I got cold that night, I didn't even have access to my sleeping bag. I would have had to get out, unzip everything, go find my sleeping bag, unfurl it, throw it in the hammock with me, and I just didn't want to get up. I did not want to get out of that hammock. And here I had a nice warm sleeping bag that if I'd have just had in the hammock with me, I could have thrown it in there, thrown it down at my feet, and then if I needed it for one reason or another, I just would have had to pull it up over me, and I would have been nice and perfect. But no, I was a dumbass and didn't do it, and it's out in the storage container, and I'm in the hammock shivering, and there it was. So that was a huge fail that I'm still kicking myself over. Okay, let's keep talking failure. All right, another failure. Pee bottle. Yeah, that's right. A pee bottle. And you see I've got it marked accordingly. I didn't have a pee bottle with me inside the hammock. And when it's cold, you don't want to get up. So you got to make arrangements to kind of do it out the side. And it felt like that particular night, I don't know, felt like I had drank 1.5 gallons of apple cider for some reason. I don't know why, but everything was free flowing that night. So I should have had a pee bottle. And by the way, I have to get the one with the wide mouth opening. Now, one like this with a smaller mouth opening, I mean, like Second Chance George, he would be just fine with that bottle. Work fine with him. I just got to have a bigger one. But yeah, pee bottle, not having it, huge failure. Okay, let's talk success, something that did work, and these were my little downfield booties. I got these also from DutchwearGear.com, Dutch, and I've had these for a while, and they work great. They very comfortable, very warm, and probably what I should have done to make them even more comfy was to, if I had a couple hand warmers to throw in there with them, it would have made even a bigger difference. But these are a success. I recommend that you go on their website and buy you a pair of these. I don't even remember what I paid for them. I don't think they were very expensive, but I definitely recommend the booties from Dutch. All right, let's talk about what was a massive success. I was so glad I had it. It's getting a little windy out here. I hope you can hear me okay, but this right here is called a Weasel Extreme Plus. It is a suit that divers, deep sea divers, wear under their uniforms to stay warm. It's made by Snug Pack. I called it my kind of like my Sasquatch suit, but it was amazing. So warm, very comfortable. Once it got cold, I wore it around the campsite all night. And then when I went to bed, I wore it to bed and just threw a blanket on top of me. And it literally did an amazing job. I still got a little bit cold in it during at the very end of the night, but in any kind of cold weather camping, if I can possibly bring this, I will. And it is a Facebook Marketplace find. I paid $50 for it. Some guy, I don't even know where he was at, he shipped it to me. But it is a Weasel Extreme Plus. It's made by Snug Pack, and if you're interested in something like that, just start searching Facebook Marketplace. Like I said earlier, if I hadn't taken off my base layer because I was too hot, it would have been perfect all night. But no, I was too stupid. All right, something else that worked good, my Nemo Philo pillow. I think these are pretty awesome, and they've got a nice soft, come on man, give me a break. They got a nice soft fabric here and some cushioning on the inside, and that traps heat. And it only takes about 2 blows to blow it up. So yeah, the Nemo Philo did great. Okay, a couple other things that worked good for me. They always work good for me. I always recommend JetBoil. Always works like a champ. My favorite dry bags are the Sea to Summit. These are the Big River bags. See if I can find the logo. There it is, Big River. Love these things. They always work good. I try to pack pretty much all of my stuff in the Sea to Summits if possible. That's pretty much the highlights. Some of the goods, some of the bads. You know, I like to mentally evaluate how things went so I can avoid trouble the next trip. But like I said, I was pretty disorganized, but I made it through. But I just thought I would share the highlights and the lowlights of this particular trip with y'all. That's all I got. I know it's time for y'all to hurry up, click off of me, and go find some awesome cat videos. And just remember, don't tell anybody, but if you find some really good ones, send me a link. All right. I will see you next time.